Talking of the UPND government being in power for 4 years now, I must say that August is their anniversary, and assessing or rating their performance in the energy sector, of course, with a link to reducing load shedding. Personally, as an individual that has been tracking their performance, I would rate them 4 out of 10. And of course, it's understandable that most projects that have got to do with production and supply of electricity are long-term projects. But I feel and think that there should have been immediate measures that should have cushioned, of course, the drought effect and just the load shedding itself that the Zambian people are experiencing. So we see, of course, according to government statistics, that in terms of access to electricity, there has been 34% increase. That is for the rural areas, and for the urban areas, we see an 80% increase. On average, that is about 54 increase in terms of accessibility. But then the gap that we are seeing there is that accessibility does not also mean availability. So people have had access to the national grid, but we are seeing an aspect where this power that they have access to is not readily available most of the time. And earlier on, we have seen the government also reduce imports of power from 520 megawatts to 150. That much as that is a very good stride in that direction. We also see that the number of hours that people are experiencing load shedding has not reduced. So the question now still remains is, yes, there has been a reduction in terms of power that is being exported, rather, but what is the effect in terms of provision for the citizens out there when they are still experiencing the same number of hours? Of course, we also see how that I think sometime last year tariffs were increased. Now that meant that more power will be imported by the government of Zambia. Unfortunately, much as the tariffs were increased, we are still not seeing an increase in terms of the supply of power to the household in Zambia. We recently see June 2025, the president of Zambia launched the Chisamba 100 megawatts solar plant, which is so far the biggest in Zambia. And of course, we see that all that power is going to First Quantum Minerals. So now the question still remains, that power that is being supplied, does it bring about a reduction in terms of the power that has been supplied to FQM through the national grid from the other sources, or there was just an increase in terms of power supply to FQM because of that? So much still remains to be done, and of course we see how that the presidential delivery unity has approved a number of projects. These are, they are calling them strategic projects, 24 of them, and they are promising that by December 2025 we should see some positives in terms of power supply, but that is still what I would call a promise, as we are waiting for it to materialize. So in the meantime, the government might have to do a lot of importing of power. I don't know from where, but that has to be done because we are seeing where small scale enterprises are dying out there. People can barely work properly because of power deficits, and you know, when there's no power, it's like somehow life comes to a standstill. So the government has to come up with immediate solutions to the power challenge that we are facing. Of course, balancing with the economy, we see that a good number of things have been done, especially in terms of restructuring the debt, which stands at 90% right now. However, the challenge also still remains in terms of balancing the economy itself, stabilizing the economy itself, and the provision of social services. So we also seem to forgo the stabilization of the economy for the provision of social services, because I don't know how we can explain the fact that the economy is stabilizing. Our GDP is projected to grow at 6% by end of 2025, and yet our debt keeps on increasing. The only answer that can come to my mind right now is the fact that there's much of social services being provided, but then the other question is, are we ever going to strike a balance between stabilizing the economy and provision of social services? Thank you.